Howdy howdy, Cody here with Creation Outdoors, coming at you from the archery range. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you've seen one of our videos before. We are hot off of Total Archery Challenge in Oklahoma, and although it was a blast, it did highlight some things that we need to improve upon. And one of those things for myself is working on target panic or target anticipation. And so target panic, what it's normally called, is you anticipating the target. You're trying to put your pin on a specific spot and punching the trigger on your release to initiate the release of that arrow so that you're trying to hit that spot. And it's something that has impacted a lot of people. That hasn't really impacted me too much, but it's something that I know and I'm aware of that happens from time to time with me. And so that's something that is my primary goal to work on in this off season per se, or at least before the next Total Archery Challenge. So I've got some new tools, did some work on my bow, and I'm going to relearn how to shoot my bow from the ground up. And so that's what we're going to be working on today. So one of the main tools that I got to work on target anticipation, and actually it was out of necessity, is a new release. And this is the back strap by Nock Archery. So maybe some of you have heard of John Dudley, and he's one of the main purveyors of a back tension style release to beat target panic. And so that's what we're trying today. And actually my old release that I had since I was 10 years old broke the week before Total Archery Challenge. So I needed something, and I figured it was time to move on. And so that's why I got this release. So the backstrap release is a true back tension style release, meaning that it only activates once you reach a certain threshold of pull on the trigger. And so that's set by being a couple pounds over the holding weight of your bow. However, the great thing about this release, and the thing that I liked about it and why I ended up going with it, is that you can back that all the way off, and therefore it functions like a normal index finger release, which is what I've had the entire time I've ever shot a bow. And so I like that because I wasn't ready to necessarily give up the control that I thought I needed in perhaps a hunting situation. And so I thought that it's really two releases in one. It's a high quality index finger release, but also a true back tension style release that'll help me get over target anticipation or whatever issues I have with that. And so that's why I ended up with this. I've been practicing with this shot trainer that I purchased, which is really just a piece of D-loop material. And it's a way for me to really practice anchoring and pulling through the shot in a way that I'm not going to develop any bad habits because I'm actually shooting my bow. And so just a real piece of cake working on developing your release and pulling through the shot. So when you're using this release as a back tension release, the trigger is kind of a two-stage trigger on a rifle that I think a lot of people are familiar with. And essentially depressing the trigger releases the safety, and then it's the back tension that activates the release of the arrow. So main tool that I've gotten to try and beat target anticipation, along with this shot trainer, and I've been using this for over a week before even shooting my bow. And so hopefully breaking down any bad habits that I have and reestablishing good habits over the next couple weeks before we go to Total Archery Challenge, and especially before hunting season. So that's what I'm trying. We're going to do some close distance shooting today at some large targets so as to not develop any impulses to try and slam the trigger when the pin is on the dot. And let's get shooting.
So the changes we made to my setup mostly have to do with my arrow. We added a lighter insert, and then we also made all of them with lighted nocks. So for mine, essentially, we're working and making sure that we're calibrated with the balance of the arrow, and then also trying to redo my sight with the goal of shooting further. And so we'll have to recalibrate the sight tape and do all of that, but that's basically what we're working on with mine.
Surprise release is definitely something to get used to, but so far so good. I mean, trying not to punch the trigger. As you can see, we're shooting relatively close. I'm not really caring about where I'm hitting because it's definitely way off from what my sight is, because we ended up having to move my peep a little bit due to an anchor change. So like I said, kind of rebuilding and relearning how to shoot my bow from the ground up and getting used to that back tension and the surprise release with the hopes that it'll make me a better archer and hunter moving forward. But for now, it's just lots and lots and lots of practice, big targets up close to start with, and then we'll move on from there. Well, just going to pull our last arrows, and that's going to do it for today, for today's video and for this range day. Got to build up the stamina still and continue working on the shot process and shot cadence and the changes in form and many things, but one step at a time. That's the name of the game. Progress and perfection doesn't happen overnight. It happens with practice, and so that's what we're continuing to do. So thanks for watching this video. I know it's a little bit different, maybe a little bit less exciting than some other ones, but hopefully this will lead to more exciting things in the future. We're going to be at Total Archery Challenge in Michigan coming up here in a month or so. So subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. And until then, we appreciate you and thanks for watching.